Hi guys, and good morning. So it's morning time right now. I kind of just got in about an hour ago. I prepared all the packages and sent them, and just thought we'll talk a little bit about some things that I have in mind, and I just really want your feedback if we should continue with them or not. So one thing is I'm really dedicating myself to do debugging videos as well as fixing videos. First of all, we're going to start, I think, with the debugging videos, and later on we'll go into fixing stuff, and then we'll go into depth in some things like the OSD chips, the microcontroller units like the F4s, testing how you can know if it's bad, or the voltage regulators. And if you can't find that specific voltage regulator that's on the board, what can we do? We could, find another voltage regulator and just figure out a way to hack it in. It's not going to be really reliable, but depends on the size and all these kinds of things. So that's one thing that I really want to get you guys feedback on, because it's not really getting a lot of views, but as long as it's helping people, I think that's more important. So if people really are finding them useful, I'd really love to continue. Actually, it's very fun, very interesting, and it's a starting point. It's a gateway drug, as I remember. I used to teach that out in school, I remember. So it's kind of like a gateway drug. That's what it really is. I mean, it opens up the door to many possibilities. You'll be able to debug all kinds of other hardware. Just because everything basically works almost exactly the same. So it's really nice. Everything has a voltage regulator. Everything has resistors. Everything has capacitors. Everything has diodes. And everything has some kind of IC that does something. Whether it's an audio IC, whether it's a OSD, which is like just a chip. Everything is just basically the same. So I'm thinking of doing receiver testing to know if your receiver is bad or not. But we're just going to see if it's actually functioning, if it's really outputting the I-bus signal and S-bus signal. And we'll do this with this little guy right here. I do highly recommend it if you're getting very serious into this. This thing is not only just for drones, it's for a lot of other things. You could even use it for a phone. You can do so many cool things with this thing if you just know how to use it. And then later on in life, you could always upgrade if you ever really find yourself that you really want something a bit more powerful. But this thing will do most of the work just fine. You just got to know how to use it, and it's very simple. It doesn't have many options. So just get the exact, what is it? Just the exact, I even forgot the word. The voltage, exact timing, and you could just play with that until you see it perfect. So it's really nice, and you could kind of see the difference between I-bus and S-bus, and you could play around with signals. You could even see the signals live with this one. I'll even show that if you guys want to see that. So that's one thing I'm planning on doing. Maybe right now that's why I was getting all the receivers I have, to kind of show you, to test it if it's working. All of them are working, but you could see how the signal looks like if it's working, and I could show you S-bus and I-bus and what is that inversion. I've done that before with my bigger oscilloscope a while ago, but not many people I think have seen it. But it's nice to do little recaps every once in a while, updated information, so it's really nice to do that. Another thing, which is this Bluetooth beacon. Okay, so some of you said that it is very inefficient that I put resistors, but at the current moment in time, it was morning, my brain was completely off. A diode is the way to go, and I do thank a couple people for reminding me of such thing, because I completely forgot about diodes. I do have a couple diodes, but I don't know if it's going to be perfect to have a 0.6 volt dropout for this guy, and it's much more efficient. And why is it much more efficient? Well, currently when I plug the battery in with two resistors, there's load, so even the resistors are taking basically battery and turning it into heat. And thus, whenever you have the battery connected, even though let's just say the module wasn't turned on or wasn't connected, it'll drain the battery basically. And that was one of the reasons why I put the protection circuit. But I completely also forgot about the coin cell batteries. You can actually just set up this module with a coin cell. But what's so cool about these modules is they're basically like Arduino. So if you program them, which was going to be the V2 version, we could add a buzzer. And you could turn it on from your phone. You could use the RSSI like we did to find it, and once you're close, turn on the buzzer and listen to it. This way you save some battery because it's going to be a coin cell, and you could always add this little part also. All it is just a positive and a negative, and just use a little bit of brain, and you could see, instead of the coin cell, you can just go ahead and set up a LiPo battery like one of these here, which is really nice. So I'll leave a link to this down below. I got like 3 of these for, I don't remember, $10 or something. One of them is like $6, so I recommend you get the 3 pieces because they can be used for a lot of other things. Like, they're really, really nice, and the range is absolutely phenomenal. They say theoretically 100 meters or so, because this is Bluetooth 4.0. Some people telling me, oh no, Bluetooth has 20 meters, 10 meters. Yeah, but this is a BLE module, and this is Bluetooth 4.0, even 4.1, I think. I don't even remember, but yeah, these are very good little modules here, little spectacular, amazing modules. So that's one thing. Another thing is right now I know I have a bad Dell RC. What is it? Was it a flight controller? It's the one I forgot where I placed it. Actually, I was gonna get it the other day. What I did with that one is I had it in my Frog, and I went to go bind the receiver, and I was just lazy to take it apart. I just stuck the what is it? Here it is. So yeah, I went to go bind the Frog, and I was lazy to take it apart. So what I did was, instead of taking it apart, I just stuck a little screwdriver in there to bind it, because after I built it, and I burnt the flight control. I don't know what I burnt, actually. I didn't really look into it deeply, but the whole thing won't boot. I haven't checked the voltage regulators, I think, or the microcontroller unit. So that's going to make a very good video for this whole playlist. And I should really set up the playlist in a nice, organized manner, so everybody could find it if they need something, you know, like maybe just, I don't know, let me know what you guys think. A debug list and a fix-it a playlist, or all of them together in one playlist. Let me know what you guys think, how you guys like to search for it, because I need your feedback in that, so it'll be easier for everybody, and in the future it'll be useful somewhat to someone. So that's one thing. What else do we have? You know, right now I'm getting a couple things. I still need to test the F3 ESCs that I got from HolyBro. I haven't had time right now, but hopefully over the weekend, that's when I'll have time to do it. Maybe if you guys are interested, I could wear like my helmet for my skateboard or something, and put the GoPro there and just walk around and showing you the whole process. It might be a very long video. It would be like just how I'm going about doing it, but then later on I could also make the second video of just the test results, how I usually do it. So you guys, if anyone's interested, I think just let me know. I'll probably do that. It'll be pretty fun, I think. I'm just walking around, blabbering, grabbing what I need, and then setting it up and telling you what I'm doing and why am I doing it like this. So that's another thing. What else do we have? Oh yeah, there's a company from Amazon that contacted me. They have a little toy drone. So I decided, okay, I'll take it to do a review. I'll do a little review. I'll tell you about it, talk about it. But what I want to do is I want to modify it to have just FPV. I want to put the smallest camera, all-in-one camera on it, and just a little battery up top, and then just fly it around. It's pretty cool, kind of. I'm not used to it. It has like just default altitude hold, so it's okay in that perspective. It's really light, and it had like 5 minutes of flight time, so that's really nice, kind of. It does have a camera on board, but I really didn't test it that much. It was nighttime, kind of, so it was pretty cool. It's on Amazon, I think. Just you. Oh no, they have everything. Europe, Amazon, all these things. So I just accepted. Just some content till I have some things arrive. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe we could modify it completely, rip out the plastic, and like 3D print like carbon fiber adapter that would hold like an 1806 motor or something. That'd be crazy. And put 5-inch props on there, and then rip out probably the flight controller and stick like a Maytag Mini 411 and maybe a little PDB or something, or just some kind of all-in-one flight controller. That would be pretty cool, but I don't know about the battery. So yeah, I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to go ahead and check it out. That also, yeah, that was from them. So let me know what you guys think about that one. I'm planning on doing that. Because things are going to take about a week to arrive, some new things, so I'm trying to get creative at the current moment of time. What else do we have? Yeah, just a debugging series. Let me know what you guys want to see, what you guys think about, because your suggestions, like there's a comment the other day where I got was really, really nice, actually. It was about the OSD, of kind of logging it separately to be able to overlay on your HD video. That would be really nice, but it's kind of difficult, but it's like a fun little side project. And I do have a couple friends who are really good programmers, so if I needed kind of help, they butt in and give them full credit for everything they've done. So it'll be a pretty cool project. Hopefully, it'll take a while though. I'm not gonna lie, but it'll be pretty nice if it actually works. It's kind of like, you know, the stick overlays that you can do. It's some of that nature. So that's really nice. I really like that. I want to see how that would work out. It would be pretty cool actually. What else do we have here? Yeah, I'm gonna contact Joshua Bardwell. Hopefully, if you guys tell him also to watch this video, Joshua Bardwell, please send me the Dell RC engine that had a bad FET, or that had a bad, you know, motor output from it. I really want to see it. It'll be very good for the debugging tutorial, and we can see what happened to it and why did it happen, if possible. I truly believe it's a bad MOSFET, and that happens sometimes. Or it could be, the other day I almost bridged two MOSFETs through the heatsink. Now I don't know how conductive the heatsink is, but if it had a scratch here and a scratch there, the inner layers might be conductive, and it went through. But aluminum isn't that conductive, but you don't know what they're using there, so that's also a possibility, but very unlikely. But it's usually a bad MOSFET is very normal to happen. It just happens. There's nothing strange about that. It doesn't make an ESC bad. That's like buying a Samsung S6 or something, and then next thing you know, your GPS is not working anymore. That's the manufacturer's fault. It's not the product's fault. The product's design wasn't flawed, and the DalRC engine's design isn't flawed at all. It's just the little hardware that was in there, and it's one piece. I mean, if the whole thing failed, and even though it was messed up, it was still flying. Okay, it maybe had some noise. The noise could be that one of the FETs. So, okay, let me explain something to you. There's 3 MOSFETs for each phase. So there's one MOSFET for one phase because there's 3 wires. And what it does is it'll enable 2 magnets and then disable one, so it kind of spins. It just does this kind of thing that goes around, depending on the type of the way that the ESC is working. Now, if one of the phases was weaker, what happens is, why do you kind of get noise? This is kind of just, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So it's spinning like this. So you have magnet, 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 magnet. You have the 3 magnets. So these two, this one would turn off, turn this one, and it would go like this. So like this MOSFET is broken right here, or just is not outputting the proper voltage, or it's not providing the correct current, and or just the speed of it has slowed down. So what happens is when it goes here and this is not strong enough, sometimes it'll push back or push forward, and that kind of creates noise, because you know it's really actually difficult to kind of explain. I really need to think about this actually. Maybe when I get it, I'll explain it. It's you know, his MOSFET is about to die. It's not dead. It's not producing the correct amount of power to enable the mag motor, and it could just bounce back between other 2 phases, and then it's not very clean. So it's kind of like a motor backfiring, so the electricity would backfire back, and that's where you get noise. It could have been don't take this, could have been a bad motor, could have, but I highly doubt it. I think he would know if it was a bad motor. But yeah, it'd be pretty interesting if Joshua could send that to me. We take it apart, take a look at it. I could even contact DalRC if I just want the schematic, possibly. Maybe they could help me with that, and we could just understand what they're using if everything is covered up. Because I know they have that thermal compound adhesive, which could, you know, if I try to remove it off some of the MOSFET, I probably won't get the number. But they don't put it on the whole thing, so that kind of leaves some space for us to you know, get 2 numbers from this MOSFET, 2 numbers from that MOSFET, depending on what the thermal compound is. So that'll be pretty interesting. I would actually really like that. So I'll try to contact Joshua, and hopefully he'll send it, and then we can see. But just because Joshua had an ESC that burned doesn't mean it's terrible. What if I had 5 TECO 3241 ESCs, quadcopters, and one of them burned? Does that make it bad? No, it doesn't make it bad. It's just something happened. Anything can happen. Maybe a solder splatter. A solder splatter could ruin a lot of things. Especially if the MOSFET from the manufacturer was a bit weak, and that's nothing you could blame DalRC for, or actually anybody for. But if all 4 of them are absolutely crap, then you blame the actual design, the hardware, and just the whole idea of that ESC. But yeah, I've done a lot of testing, and before I come and recommend something, I make sure I test the living shit out of it. That's something very important, because the way that I go about recommending a product is, if you know, if my brother didn't have money, or my best friend just barely has like $20, and this is the way I'd recommend. I make sure it's good enough. I say, hey, listen, get this one with an absolute, you know, peace of mind, and without, what I mean, how can I say this? Just with confidence. There we go. With absolute confidence when I recommend something. So because I know how big it is to recommend something and you get screwed over. It's really bad. I've seen that. That's happened to me actually on YouTube before, and that was also one reason why I really wanted to start a channel. But that's a different topic, and that's a different story. Things now is a little bit matured since then. So overall, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys want to see? I'll be doing more, like I said, returning to the basic stuff. And I'm just going to start Googling around. I remember there was one thing that I could never find. It was when I got my FR Sky. You see those multi-protocol modules. And I never knew if it really does work with a FlySky receiver because nobody really had that information straightforward. It was kind of confusing. And after a while, I figured out, yes, you can. And I was amazed that how is it not anywhere? Maybe because a lot of people, most of like the people in this hobby, like the hardcore, usually are just with FrSky, usually. So me coming in from FlySky, it was a bit more confusing. Okay, there's a little bit of nice tutorials for FlySky, but you know, if you wanted to transition like me, I had like what 20 FlySky receivers. It's going to be hella expensive to get all because FrSky was pretty expensive. The receivers were pretty expensive back then. Now they're like 10, 12 bucks, which is really nice. Yeah, I just didn't know that if that multi-protocol thing can actually run on FlySky, and actually does. So if you get an FrSky, if you ever started with a FlySky and get an FrSky, you can get that thing and all your quads are still totally fine, which is really nice. I don't know how hard it is to still find that information now, because you have the jumper stuff, and I actually got the new jumper. It's on the way. Banggood said, "Would you like to review?" I said, "Sure. We'll go ahead and check it out. We'll see how good it is. Kind of. I'll do what I can with that one. Maybe even test latency. We haven't done that in a while. What else do we have? What do you guys want to see? That's the thing, because I'm a bit detached from the beginner stage of the hobby because I eat, breathe, and sleep this all day, every day. So let me know what you guys think. That's one thing. And I do appreciate all your support, guys. I do appreciate all your comments. And I do appreciate every single thing from you guys. You guys have just been awesome. And I'm very grateful and honored. I really am. I can't stress that enough. So, yeah. So I'm going to be doing a V2 of the Bluetooth with a coin cell, which is a little flat one. So they're like 3.7 volts. So it'll be pretty nice. I need to figure out an easy way to teach you how to program this guy, to add a little buzzer to it and make it in a nice little tiny package. We're going to have to 3D print something. One top thing to hold the buzzer, like just, you know, like a 3D print holder. And inside to hold the coin cell, maybe get 2 pieces of metal, conductive metal, so we can run wires from them to the module here. It'll be actually pretty thin. It'll be pretty awesome. And the buzzer won't turn on until you connect. You would start basically with the RSSI looking for it. Once you get in the range, you connect to it. Boom. Turn on the buzzer. Oh, I could hear. And then it's gonna be one of the best things to actually find your quadcopter. It really will be. So that's one thing. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with this now. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna start on it, which is debugging. Just showing you how to debug signals with the oscilloscope for receivers. That's one thing. It's going to be pretty interesting to see it. And then later on, I mean, if you do get one, since you know how to see this, you can go ahead and check out other protocols like PPM. You could check out PWM. You could check out that new F port or something. I forgot what it was called from FR. I never even used it. You could check out the crossfire signal. You'll know what's inverted and uninverted. So let me explain something to you. Inverted and uninverted. An inverted signal. Okay, so an uninverted signal, a normal signal, would start at 0 volts. Okay, so when it talks, it goes up and then it goes back down. But an inverted signal will start at 5 volts, and when it wants to talk, it talks backwards like this. So that's why it's inverted. So yeah, that's all it is. You know, a normal signal starts at 0 volts, and then when it wants to say something, it says boop, which is just like up for 2 milliseconds, comes back down. S-bus inverted signal will start at the 5 volts or 3 volts or whatever, just the top, not 0. And then when it wants to talk, it'll drop it down. It'll drop the voltage. It'll turn off the voltage, so it'll look like this. And we'll see that in a little bit. I think it'll be pretty interesting. What else do we have? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm also thinking of doing a specific tutorial for filters. Filters is pretty interesting. I'm really interested in filters. I have a setup that I know is hella vibrating. I don't know even the word for it, but it's vibrating pretty bad. I can't even tune it. So I think it'll do. I have to probably go sit for a whole day in the field and just and do it. It'll be pretty fun actually. It's a really terrible flying quadcopter because it's a 7-inch and the arms are just wobbling. Super sensitive gyro. Good ESC. So we know it's not the ESCs. We know it's not the motors. It's using T-Motor F60s Pro. So we know on that perspective everything is good. So it just has to do with vibrations and oscillations, and the filters would be a very nice topic. We could check out the black box log and do all kinds of crazy stuff. I'll try to make it as simple as possible. And yeah, that's it, guys. So I really do hope you guys enjoy this content. And again, if you guys don't like it, let me know. I'll stop doing these morning vlogs. And if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know. And thank you for all your support. Thank you for using my links. Thank you for your Patreons. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. And I will see you next time. See you guys. Take care.